We're on to the final matchup in the first round of our In the Trenches bracket, where the fans decide who has the best defense in the NFL. Today's matchup is the Houston Texans against the Seattle Seahawks, but we've got another first round matchup to reveal the results of. The San Francisco 49ers took on the Philadelphia Eagles in the third matchup of our first round. And folks, this was the biggest blowout of our In the Trenches bracket so far. 88% to 12%, the 49ers move on to the second round. Now it's up to you to decide who's going to face them. PFW publisher Hub Arkish and senior editor Mike Wilkening go in the trenches to hash out the argument.
Well, Mike, we got through the best offenses in the NFL. Now we're going to try and find the best defense in the NFL. We're in the first round. The Pro Football Weekly editors have given us their top 8, and they've given you the task of defending the Seattle Seahawks. I've got the Houston Texans in this first round. I'll let you kick it off. Why are the Seattle Seahawks the best defense in the NFL?
Well, you know, I look at the Seattle defense, and there's two things that stand out to me. The defensive line is very, very good. The secondary is wonderful. The safety tandem, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, both went to the Pro Bowl last year. I think the league's maybe best tandem at the position. And they've got two big corners in Brandon Browner and Richard Sherman. Now, this is a league that's going quick at the corner position. They've got a lot of size back there. Now, looking at that defensive line, you add Jason Jones to the mix. He's a guy that can play end. He can play tackle. They've got Red Bryant, who's an end, but he's really a tackle-sized guy. They've got Chris Clements, double-digit sacks the last 2 years. I look at this defense, they've got top 10 potential at the least.
Well, they've got good size and speed back there. I'm not sure they've shown the production in the secondary. There's a lot of hopes and dreams there for the Seattle Seahawks. I look at the Houston Texans coming off a season in which they were second in the NFL in total defense. They were third against the run, fourth against the pass, great balance. And boy, can they rush the passer. Now, they've had some defections. I know people are worried about that. Mario Williams is in Buffalo. D'Amico Ryans, he's in Philadelphia, 2 Pro Bowl players. But this team is so loaded, you don't even realize it once you study the depth chart. At the 5 technique, their 2 defensive ends, when you look at J.J. Watt and Antonio Smith, probably the best pair of pass rushing DNs on a 3-4 defense in the NFL. And then what they'll get off the edge from that middle group, those linebackers in Brooks Reed and Connor Barwin, and they're pretty solid in the secondary too, particularly Jonathan Joseph, maybe the best free agent signing of 2011.
My question about the Texans is, they made a huge leap last year. I mean, they were one of the worst defenses in the league the year before. To be the second best defense, can they sustain that another year under Wade Phillips? And you mentioned the loss of Mario Williams and D'Amico Ryans. I think those are material losses, and I know they were able to play well without Mario Williams, and all credit to them for being able to do that. But when I look at Seattle, their defense versus the pass, their ability to make big plays in the secondary, I think might be second to none in that conference. They've got a lot of options on this defense, and I think Gus Bradley, defensive coordinator, one of the rising stars in the business, I think he's done a really nice job.
But I look at production. This is a team that was not a shutdown defense against the running game or the passing game. Then I turn and look at the young Houston Texans, and people forget they're probably younger than the Seattle Seahawks. They're one of the youngest teams in the NFL. That arrow is pointing straight up, and Brian Cushing is not an old-timer by any means. And then finally you plug in Wade Phillips. You know, it took him about 5-6 weeks to get his system in place last year, but second half of the season, nobody was shutting teams down better than the Texans. So I just don't know if Seattle's defense is going to take a big enough step forward. Anyway, we've got the Texans versus the Seahawks. Round 1 of Pro Football Weekly's best defenses in the NFL. We'll see how we did.
Who will face the San Francisco 49ers in the semifinals? It's up to you to decide between the Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks. There are 4 ways to vote. You can cast your vote in the comments section of our YouTube channel, or send us your vote via Twitter, or participate in the poll at facebook.com/ProFootballWeekly or at ProFootballWeekly.com.